As we come on the air, reports of a major tornado touching down. The images coming in right now. Word of that tornado hitting Iowa. Reports of catastrophic damage, tops of buildings sheared off. Injuries, people possibly trapped. Several other twisters reported today, and the storm's on the move right now. Meteorologist Rob Marciano is standing by. Also breaking tonight, what the White House has just revealed. Coming to America, discussions now underway. Vladimir Putin's visit to Washington. The White House tweet late today about the Putin visit. It comes just days after the president on the world stage appeared to side with Putin over his own intelligence team. And then the moment late today when the director of national intelligence is told about the new tweet from the White House about Putin's visit. Watch his face and what he says next. Also developing tonight, the massive explosion crippling a major part of New York City. The blast shooting hundreds of feet in the air, nearly 50 buildings possibly contaminated with asbestos. The urgent manhunt at this hour, an apparent bank robbery and shooting, 3 female employees shot and wounded. The 8-month-old baby rescued from a hot car, a good Samaritan calling 911, and the moment the mother breaks down when she realizes her dangerous mistake. And tonight, the surprise moment, Bruce Springsteen suddenly up on stage with Billy Joel. And you'll see it.
This is ABC World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening. It's great to have you with us here on a very busy Thursday night, and there are several major stories as we come on the air tonight. We're going to begin with word of a major tornado. Reports at touchdown in Marshalltown, Iowa, just a short time ago, all part of a system bringing several twisters. And the video you're about to see, it's from Bondurant, Iowa. That's about 13 miles from Des Moines, and you can hear the force of this. Again, the pictures just coming in.
Oh my God. Honey, get inside. There just went a house. There just went a house.
There are reports the most recent tornado was on the ground for several minutes. There are also reports of catastrophic damage coming in, tops of buildings torn off, reports of injuries of people possibly trapped in Marshalltown. And as I mentioned, there is also word of other twisters as well in the Des Moines area. Of course, it's an active situation. We await word from authorities tonight. But again, a large tornado reportedly touching down in Marshalltown, Iowa. That's near Omaha, and in other locations as well. And to give you an idea of how unsettled the air is right now, take a look at the flashes of lightning seen through the window of this passenger jet flying on a flight from Boston to Seattle. It's believed they flew right over all of this. And meteorologist Rob Marciano has been tracking this all afternoon long, minute by minute. Rob, where's the system right now?
Well, Marshalltown, very populated there, so we're very concerned about that area. And now that cell is still holding together. You see it there in southeast Iowa, southeast of Des Moines. That watch is in effect until 10 o'clock tonight. We don't want to discount what's happening down to the south. Outside of Kansas City, we had baseball-sized hail today. We had 80-mile-per-hour winds near Topeka, so that watch box is going to have some dangerous weather. It does shift a little bit farther to the south tonight, so damaging winds, large hail, and ongoing threat for tornadoes. Tomorrow, it drives across the Mississippi River, Paducah, Louisville, Nashville, highly populated areas, damaging winds, very large hail, and a few tornadoes. This is very unusually strong jet stream for July, David, and certainly the local authorities, your local ABC stations, listen to them tonight because it's a dangerous situation ongoing.
Okay, so we're watching a situation mainly in Des Moines as we come on the air, twisters in other areas as well, and we'll stay on this throughout the newscast, bring you more if we get it. Rob, in the meantime, thanks. We're going to move on to that stunning revelation from the White House that we're also following at this hour. The news from the White House late today that discussions are in the works for Vladimir Putin to come to Washington. The news late today coming in a tweet from the White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders. And it all comes as the president tried to clarify what he said on the world stage when he appeared side to side with Vladimir Putin. And he sided with him over his own intelligence agencies. Tonight, right here, you're about to see the president's director of national intelligence, the moment he's told live on stage about this new tweet that plans are in the works to bring Putin to America. Here's ABC senior White House correspondent Cecilia Vega tonight.
As President Trump boasts about his relationship with Vladimir Putin, calling their meeting a great success, his White House, for the 3rd consecutive day, was forced to issue yet another Russia walkback. This time over a proposal by Putin himself. Russian authorities would question the 12 Russian military officers recently indicted by special counsel Robert Mueller, with Americans invited to watch. In exchange, Moscow would then be allowed to question American citizens accused of unspecified crimes. In Helsinki, the president seemed thrilled by the idea.
What he did is an incredible offer. He offered to have the people working on the case come and work with their investigators with respect to the 12 people. I think that's an incredible offer. Okay?
One of the Americans Russia wants to question, former U.S. Ambassador to Russia Michael McFaul. The White House asked if they would allow that.
Does President Trump support that idea? Is he open to having U.S. officials questioned by Russia?
The president's going to meet with his team, and we'll let you know when we have an announcement on that.
The backlash immediate, from McFaul pleading directly with the Trump administration.
My government, I hope, will step up today and categorically swat this back. And when I mean my government, I mean my President of the United States of America.
To Capitol Hill.
Naive and absurd. There is no rule of law in Russia. There's the rule of Putin.
That the president would even entertain the idea of subjecting our diplomats to Putin's thuggery, that is an abuse of power.
In the face of that unrelenting criticism, today the White House backed down. Press Secretary Sarah Sanders saying in a statement, it is a proposal that was made in sincerity by President Putin, but President Trump disagrees with it. And Secretary of State Mike Pompeo made it crystal clear.
The administration is not going to force Americans to travel to Russia to be interrogated by Vladimir Putin and his team.
What exactly President Trump and Vladimir Putin discussed behind closed doors remains a mystery. And tonight, in a stunning public rebuke, the president's own director of national intelligence, Dan Coats, openly criticized the decision to meet one-on-one.
If you had asked me how that ought to be conducted, I would have suggested a different way. But that's not my role. That's not my job. So it is what it is.
Coates says he has no idea what the leaders discussed, but one person who does, the president's translator, Marina Gross. In Congress, Republican and Democratic leaders are now debating whether to request her notes or compel her to testify.
Let's face it, the interpreters were the only ones there. Russia's going to play this game. They're already out there talking about important agreements being reached, and they will, over the next while, characterize those agreements in the way that they want to. And if we have no way of pushing back, or if the administration doesn't push back, then we've got a big problem.
And Cecilia Vega joins us now from the White House. And Cecilia, we heard from the Director of National Intelligence, Dan Coats, a Republican, in your report there. He said today that he would not have advised to have that 2-hour meeting with only the president and Vladimir Putin behind closed doors, that he would have suggested another way. And then there was also this moment today when he was suddenly told of a tweet that had just come from the White House about Vladimir Putin now coming to the U.S. I wanted to show everyone at home and watch the Director of National Intelligence, watch his reaction.
We have some to the White House in the fall.
Say that again? That's going to be special.
So, Cecilia, the White House did say late today that discussions are underway for Putin's visit. But clearly, the Director of National Intelligence there, who just said the Russians are still at this, that the warning light is blinking red, it was clear he had no idea this was coming.
It certainly seems so, David, and that was far from the only stunning moment during that interview. Coats also said that Putin may have recorded Donald Trump in their one-on-one meeting behind closed doors. And when Coats was asked if he's ever considered resigning, David, he said, there are days when you think, what am I doing? But he said, as long as he is able to speak the truth, he's on board.
All right, more to come on this story. Cecilia Vega tonight. Cecilia, thank you. We are also following a developing story right now here in New York City, a massive explosion, a steam pipe erupting underground, the plume shooting up several stories. Nearly 50 buildings were evacuated today. There are real concerns at this hour about asbestos detected in that pipe, possibly contaminating dozens of buildings, all of this paralyzing a major part of the city for several hours. The explosion shattering the street there, firefighters and hosing workers down at the scene. And ABC's Lindsay Davis is near the scene of the blast for us tonight.
Mayhem in Manhattan this morning after this violent steam pipe eruption, paralyzing part of New York City just before rush hour, spewing steam, asphalt, and debris several stories high, covering famed Fifth Avenue and the cars on it with thick mud.
You can get an idea of how much steam is floating through Midtown.
First responders trying to evacuate the streets as the plume billows just feet away from them.
As soon as I heard a loud explosion, I just booked it and ran.
Officials say at 6:39 this morning, a 20-inch, 86-year-old steam pipe ruptured, leaving 5 people with minor injuries, creating a large crater in the street. You can see how close this car came to direct impact.
Thank God this happened so early in the morning that there were many fewer people present than would normally be.
But tonight, the new concern? The pipe that burst was determined to contain potentially hazardous asbestos.
My sweatshirt's covered in mud and it didn't get my skin. It's in my hair still. But I'm alive and I'm safe and I'm grateful.
There's real concern about whether any debris entered into buildings or into air conditioning systems.
Several blocks along Fifth Avenue and nearly 50 buildings shut down.
I want to get to my office, but I like to avoid the air.
Firefighters were first sprayed down, then showered off in a decontamination tent. And anyone in the area at the time is being advised to do the same.
Wow, really lucky the injuries weren't more serious today with so many people there. Lindsay Davis joins us live tonight near the site of that explosion. We know authorities are on the scene there behind you investigating, cleaning up. But Lindsay, we just saw those decontamination centers. What are the health concerns for people who live near the blast, who work near the blast, and when will they be allowed to get back in to offices and, for many of them, their own apartments?
Well, David, there is an expectation that several of these buildings may actually stay closed through the weekend. The mayor is advising anyone who was in this area this morning to shower, bag your clothes, then bring those clothes to the power company Con Edison. You can actually be compensated for turning those clothes in. David.
All right, Lindsay Davis on the scene for us. Lindsay, thank you. There's also an urgent manhunt underway at this hour as well. This is playing out in Fort Worth, Texas tonight. After an attempted robbery at a bank, and then the gunfire breaking out. 2 heavily armed suspects shooting 3 bank employees, 3 women, and then taking off. Tonight, police are warning that they should be considered armed and dangerous. And ABC's Marcus Moore is on the scene in Fort Worth tonight.
Police with their guns drawn, swarming this Texas neighborhood shortly after 2 suspects tried to rob a bank nearby.
They were armed with weapons. Multiple shots were fired.
Police receiving the call just after 9 o'clock this morning about a shooting at this Veritex bank in Fort Worth.
3 female bank employees were struck. They were transported to a hospital.
The suspects taking off from the scene. A SWAT team converging on one home less than 2 miles away after the FBI says a vehicle potentially associated with the robbery led them to this neighborhood.
It does not seem that there was anybody in the house once the search warrant was conducted.
3 people were detained nearby, but police say it is unclear if they had any role in the bank shooting. Investigators now gathering potential evidence from the home they say could be connected to the earlier incident. With 3 bank employees in serious condition tonight, Veritex releasing this statement. It's times like this that the Veritex family pulls together. We ask for prayers at this time.
Marcus Moore with us as well tonight. And Marcus, we're learning those injured employees are expected to survive. That is good news tonight. And police say the suspects may have fled the bank empty-handed.
That's right, David. The FBI says that no money was taken during this incident, and Fort Worth police urging the public to be vigilant tonight as they surveillance video from nearby.
All right, Marcus Moore, thank you. Next tonight, a Good Samaritan is now being credited with potentially saving the life of an 8-month-old boy. She saw him alone in the backseat of a car in stifling heat. The witness then called 911, and police body cam captures the moment the baby's mother returns to the car and realizes what she's done. Here's ABC's Victor Oquendo.
A Florida sheriff's body camera rolling as he arrives on scene of a tragedy avoided, they say, thanks to this woman. The Volusia County Sheriff says Jessica Kaiser noticed a baby in a car seat in the back of this Nissan in a strip mall parking lot. It was 93 degrees outside.
It's hot. Yeah, I hear you.
At first, she thought it was a doll, but after realizing it was a living, breathing baby, she opens the unlocked car and calls police. Mom arrives 24 minutes later.
He's fine.
Immediately breaking down.
I know. We're gonna I'm a nurse, and like I hear these stories. I have 4 kids, and I always think like how.
There have been so far this year, according to kidsincars.org. Thankfully, this 8-month-old is not among them. David, that mom, 33-year-old Megan Burgess, says she thought she dropped all of her kids off at her father's house. She was arrested and charged with child neglect. David?
Victor Oquendo tonight. Thank you, Victor. We're going to turn overseas this evening and to a remarkable moment in Thailand. Youngest survivor, 18 days trapped in that cave, with our James Longman.
A reason, nearly a month. Little brothers and sisters shouting, "Titan,